People deluded. Now, I think Osei Tutu should probably keep it moving from this club. Now, you lot know yourself, he's 20 years of age. You want to be kicking on into the first team. He's made no appearance despite the fact that he's allegedly highly rated within the academy. Emre took a shine to him as well, took a shine to him last year. But you've seen how stressed we've been at fullback. You've seen Maitland-Niles, who's done okay and had tough periods, but if we cut the crap, he's a makeshift fullback. Lichtsteiner's not good enough. Jenkinson is just Jenkinson. Mustafi is Mustafi. All of these options, makeshift, people past it, centre half's playing there. If you're Osei Tutu and you're 20 years of age and Emre allegedly rates you and you didn't get no opportunities, obviously he's young and things like that, you've got to probably keep it moving, because this year you can't, for me, he needs to stay fit, but he can't afford to be playing 23s football, because you should be looking to make progress. He's a good player and he shouldn't be playing in this level. There's no smoke without fire, whether these teams are legitimately interested or his agent is putting the fillers out, but he's been linked with a couple German clubs. He's been linked with Strasbourg in France. He's been linked with Rennes in France. He's been linked with Celtic. Celtic would be a very attractive proposition, who have been linked with Jenkinson as well. So maybe their officials are putting the feelers out that they're actually just looking for a fullback. But Celtic, I'm not sure if he would play straight away. But if you can get in the side, you're playing for a big club in Celtic, in a decent league for a young kid player as well. Celtic's got a lot of expectations. They expected to win league titles and things, so the pressure. I'm sure they're in the Champions League as well, so there's that potential. And you could always build your name and get a name for yourself and then move back to the Prem or do what you want. I personally, if I was him, I'd entertain Celtic, but at the same time, when you're linked with Rennes and a couple German clubs and stuff, Hamburg as well, I'd want to try that, man, because they're smaller. I think German clubs do a fantastic job of looking after young players, because I just think they really understand young players, especially with the young ones that are going from England. Like, obviously, not everybody's had success, but I'd say 90% of these players that have gone have had some good success. So they understand the players and they really do their due diligence around not just signing players for the sake of it, around why we're bringing you in, how we can teach you and things. And he is good going forward and he's decently defending, but he needs to make progress. Personally, I feel nobody's speaking enough about the right-back angle. We've got 45 million, it's a stretch, people. There's many areas, wingers, midfielders. For me, centre-half and the left-hand side of defence would be the key areas to fix. At a push, centre-half and just left-back. But the right-back area is not being spoken about enough, people, and we might see more of the same. I'm inclined to believe Maitland-Niles is going to start the season as a first-choice fullback, because we need to remember Bellerin will be back at a point this season, but when, we don't specifically know. We don't want to rush him back. It will take a while for him to recover from his injury, and even when back, he needs time to get to his full playing potential. So I'm inclined to believe Maitland-Niles is there. Sadly, if Jenkinson's still at this football club, more than we already know, the club's not serious about doing things, because, again, Jenkinson should not be at this football club. So Jenkins should be moved on. Mustafi, Lichtsteiner's gone. Mustafi shouldn't be used at fullback. Maitland-Niles can do his thing there and it's probably the best out of the bad bunch. But we need to get a proper fullback there. In all of this, if Tutu's seeing all of this and you're still not being played, then you might as well keep it moving. But I just feel on a general basis, me, myself, I don't think people are paying enough attention to that right-hand side. Like, we've been linked with right-backs and fullbacks and stuff on the right-hand side. And I actually, at first, you're like, what the hell, we need to look at centre-half. But when I started to deep, I was like, Bellerin, could the club be concerned about when Bellerin returns? And it is a week gap in us, people. Very early on, we're playing. Apologies for that, people. Very early on in the Premier League, we'll be playing Spurs. We've got some big games coming thick and fast and some tough away games. How can we really start the season without a first choice back four, people? Do you get it, people? Like, in an ideal world, if Bellerin was fit and Bellerin would be my first choice, in an ideal world against Newcastle, I believe you have to start again. I don't know when these players are back, but Socrates and Holding are right back in. Obviously, Bellerin's not there, so it'll be Maitland-Niles. Kohler or Monreal will be the left back, but for me, a new left back. And then you've got Leno, who was just signed, and things like that. Hopefully, if you get these players in, get early, you work with this back five, and then you can go forward in the season. Because for me, people, just for me, basically, I just want to get the back five sorted, people. I want to get the back five sorted. I want to drill into the midfield, how to defend and how to protect and defend from wide areas and be a bit robust. And then we can move from anywhere. Because I told you, I've got no expectations right now. All I want to do is just play players that might be rough around edges, but they've got a future here. Strip the club back to the basics and go forward with the players we can go forward with. I truly don't have any expectations, people. And to be fair, if I was Osei Tutu, if I was seeing all of this and I'm still not even on a bench at first team level, it would be quite concerning, because I must admit, people, I'm having reservations about Emre and the academy. I'm not saying he needs to be like Wenger and give people opportunities for the sake of it, but it does feel like it's a bit closed off. It's like almost Wenger had an open door policy of sorts. Like you listen to Bramwell, you listen to Bielik, whether these players were gonna make it here or not. Not everyone can make it here clearly. It's nice to know that there was a transparency between the academy in that they knew that they could speak to Wenger. For all of Wenger's criticism, the players knew that they could talk to Wenger. He's very approachable, and it's an open door policy, and everybody's one, whether you're young or old. Now it just feels like they're a bit closed off because Bielik saying he never had a conversation with Emery and it's still yet to. Bramwell said the same. Players have been farmed out on loan, and I get that. If Emery's approach is that he wants you to be ready-made a year to get experience, then cool. But I've seen players shifted out on loan. I've seen a reluctance to play players even when there's been injuries in certain positions. It really feels like they're a handbrake. And when you consider that Lomberg's into the first team now, could that be because of Emery's weakness in that? Like, again, I think Emery knows these young players and he's talked about the dossier. But it does appear that it does feel a bit closed off in regards to first team. Obviously, Mavropanos has had injuries, but he wasn't named in the Europa League squad. And I do think it takes a certain bravery to play young players. Fair play to Guendouzi, plays him, but Guendouzi had experience. You compare Guendouzi's experience, 20 odd appearances for Lorient, it's not enough, but you compare his experience to Emil or someone, he at least had some early building blocks and things like that. I do think it takes bravery to play young players, and maybe cowardly is not the right word, but I do think that is one thing that Emery is cowarding away from. I'm not saying you need to play young players from first minute to last, but definitely in terms of appearances and bringing them in and opportunities, I'm yet to see them on a full-blown scale. Yes, people made appearances in the Europa League, but I do think that's one area Emery needs to improve on very quickly, because I don't want to talk too tough, people, but I do have it on good authority that certain young players are considering their futures at this club, and there's a certain individual that's drawn a lot of interest from Germany, from Italy. I'm not gonna reveal certain things, but trust me, a lot of these young players are drawing interest, and there's actually one who you wouldn't think of is actually unhappy people, and you actually wouldn't think that, but you lot know me, I'm not one to talk. What do I know, people? I do have that on good authority, but what do I know? On that note, people, DG, thank you for watching. I'm out.